What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back, and I got a top 10 video for you that I'm pretty excited about. In today's video, we will be counting down the top 10 easiest English Pokemon cards that you can grade. We'll be taking a look at the total population of each card that has been graded, the total amount of PSA 10s they received, thus ultimately configuring the gem mint rate of each of these cards. And each of these cards I'll be showing you have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands that have been graded, so we got a lot of data to go through. I thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is sponsored by the #1 global Pokemon TCG notification and investing community, PokeNotify. PokeNotify, if you don't already know, is a Discord server of TCG monitors curated to give you the fastest notifications on drops, restocks, and deals, covering hundreds of websites and all major regions across the world. Be the first to be notified about upcoming pre-orders for everything Destined Rivals, and also restocks on sets like Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together. And right now they're offering a free 3-day trial to test out their servers, but after that, don't forget to use code TOP10POKEMON for 25% off your first month. A link to the website to sign up will be in the description of this video. Go check them out, and thank you so much for your support. All right, folks, let's jump into this video. We will be using cardladder.com to see the statistics for each of these cards. So let's get into the number 10 easiest English Pokemon card to grade, and that would be the Full Art Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno Black Star promo. Stained Glass Black Star promo from the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box. This card has a total of 35,009 graded copies from PSA alone, with 21,446 of those receiving a Gem Mint 10, giving it a 61.26% gem rate. However, even though this card has over 21,000 PSA 10s, the price of a PSA 10 just keeps rising as of recently. I think it's getting close to $200 for a PSA 10 when it once was more like $40 a couple years ago. It's crazy. This card is an absolute beauty though, and it's the number 10 easiest to grade. The number 9 easiest card to grade is the Charizard GX number 9, also from Hidden Fates. This card has a total PSA population of 17,617 copies, with 10,878 of those receiving a PSA 10, giving it a 61.75% gem rate. I do believe that the Full Art Charizard GX from the Shiny Vault of this set does have a lot more that have been graded. It is just a much more valuable card, really, but this one here seems to be the easier one to grade, and the number 9 on today's list. The number 8 card in today's video comes from a very easy to grade set. At least that's how it seems. It is the Charizard Holo from the Celebrations Classic Collection. This card has been graded a total of 40,729 times by PSA, with 25,732 of those hitting a PSA 10, giving this card a 63.18% gem rate. I do believe out of all of the base set Charizard reprints, this one here is the easiest one to land as a PSA 10. Speaking of Celebrations, the number 7 easiest card of all time to grade would have to be the Venusaur Holo from Celebrations. This card's been graded a total of 23,776 times by PSA, with 15,108 of those landing a Gem Mint 10, giving this card a 63.54% gem rate. Which brings us right into our number 6 easiest card to grade, and that would be, yes, the Blastoise Holo from the Celebrations Classic Collection. That has been graded 27,209 times, with a total of 17,519 PSA 10s, giving this card a 64.39% gem rate. And yeah, like I said, Celebrations must have just had an insanely good print quality, because the big 3 here are on the top 10 easiest cards to grade of all time. So if you have any of these cards right here from Celebrations, you got a pretty good chance of it landing a PSA 10. The number 5 easiest card of all time to grade would have to be the Charizard V Secret Rare Full Art card from Champion's Path. This card has been graded a total of 23,589 times by PSA, with 15,465 of those getting a PSA 10, giving this card a 65.56% gem rate. And let me say that the Champion's Path set was the first set to be exposed to the 2020 boom. So needless to say, you're going to see a couple more cards from this set on today's video. Turns out Champion's Path was a relatively easy set to grade, as evidenced by this card. This is the number 5 easiest on our list. Coming in number 4, another card from Champion's Path. It is the Rainbow Rare Charizard VMAX that's been graded a total of 24,831 times, with 17,762 of those receiving a Gem Mint 10, giving this card a 71.53% gem rate. And even though this card has one heck of a PSA 10 population, it still goes for several hundreds of dollars as a PSA 10. This along with the Charizard V that we just covered. So yeah, the Charizard tax is truly strong. The number 3 easiest card to grade is one that we all know and love. It's the Moonbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Folks, this card has been graded 22,810 times by PSA alone and has a total PSA 10 population of 16,644 copies, with a gem mint rate of 72.97%. And even with this card having such a high gem mint rate, the PSA 10s have hit historic prices in the past couple of months, selling for well over $2,000, at one point hitting $3,000 for a PSA 10, even though there are over 16,000 PSA 10 copies. Just shows the insane popularity of this card. This is the number 3 easiest card to grade. The number 2 card comes from Darkness Ablaze in this Charizard VMAX Full Art. This card has been graded 26,332 total times by PSA, with 19,690 of those receiving a 10, which gives this card a 74.78% gem rate. And folks, I remember buying these cards up when they first hit the market back in 2020. I was so hopeful that the PSA 10s would be tough to get, that this would be a tough card to grade, and it turns out I was totally wrong, as it is the number 2 easiest card of all time to grade. So yeah, I placed a bad wager on that bet, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Before we get to the number 1 easiest card of all time to grade, let's go over just a couple of honorable mentions. We have a few cards from Crown Zenith that are very easy to grade, like this Mewtwo V-Star here that has 25,264 graded copies, with 15,423 of those hitting a 10, giving it a 61.05% gem rate. We also have the Full Art Arceus V-Star from Crown Zenith that has a total of 20,757 copies, with 12,383 of those getting a 10, which gives it a 59.66% gem rate. And then we have the Origin Form Dialga V-Star, also from Crown Zenith, that has 17,021 PSA copies, with 10,055 of those landing a 10, giving this card a 59.07% gem rate. And then here we have a notorious card. It's notorious for having the most amount of graded copies ever. It's the Charizard V Black Star promo that you get from the Champion's Path Elite Trainer boxes. This card has a total PSA population of 82,101 copies, with 46,497 of those getting a PSA 10, which gives this card a 56.63% gem rate. And folks, if we take a look at the total graded population of this card, so graded by all the major grading card companies, it's at 111,422 cards that have been graded, which makes you wonder exactly how many Champion's Path Elite Trainer boxes did they make? With over 100,000 of these cards being graded, makes one wonder, right? Makes me wonder anyway. And last but not least, for our honorable mentions, of course, we got to cover the Pikachu Van Gogh promo card. A relatively new card on this list, has a total of 76,725 graded copies by PSA alone, with 37,684 of those hitting a Gem Mint 10, giving this card a 49.12% gem rate. So, nearly half of all these cards submitted to PSA have landed a Gem Mint 10. Which brings me to the number 1 easiest English Pokemon card to grade of all time. It is the Charizard VMAX from Shining Fates. This card has been graded by PSA 34,552 times, with 26,727 of those landing a PSA 10, giving this card the highest gem rate of 77.35%. So folks, if I had to sum up this video of what are the easiest sets to grade, I would have to go with Crown Zenith, I would have to go with Champion's Path, I would have to go with Celebrations. Seems to take up a majority of this list as having some of the easiest cards of all time to grade. What do you think? What do you think of this list? And what are some other cards that you think are particularly easy to grade? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the very end, folks. I really appreciate it. That's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in my next one.